Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm so glad you're here to nourish your roots with me. I'm Jess Milner. And today I would like to talk about, really a balance in your life. And this is kind of, this is inspired really by myself included, because I used to do this myself, but I see so many people in the holistic community, whether they're practitioners or just, regular moms and dads that want to do the best for their families. But we have a tendency to go completely extreme. And I just want to talk about how that can really end up a lot of the time being more harmful than helpful. So, I mean, and I used to do this too. I used to be so, um, controlling over what my family was eating, what I was eating, and very vocal about it. And it's not that those things are bad, okay? Because we do want to make sure that our families are eating the best that they can. If your family has an allergy or a sensitivity and you need to be avoiding something for whether it's a long period of time or a short period of time, that's totally fine. And that's absolutely valid to do those kinds of things. Um, but I know, many of us, we like to avoid certain ingredients and stuff, with our children's food. I know I still try very hard to avoid artificial food dyes and some other things, that are some other preservatives and additives and things that are in food, something that's like polysorbate 80 or, there are things in there that you're like, let's not get that. That's not going to be good for us. That has, that has a fake sugar in it that's not good. I don't want you having the aspartame or the saccharin, so yeah, these are things that I keep out of my home. Okay. I don't bring those things into the house so the kids won't eat them at home. But you do have to live your life as well. So once you have gone through some sort of journey or program so that you have corrected some things, you've reminded your body how to do the things. Okay. Like, for example, my one daughter was off of wheat, corn, and dairy for, the better part of a year. It might have even been more than a year. And she was a very good sport about it. She tested off of those things. And it was just because, basically when she was eating those things, her body was so tired. And, it took up all of the body's energy to process those things. So other things didn't get taken care of in the body. So when she avoided those things for that time, she was able to take supplements, take other steps, and her body was able to correct these other things. And now, she's able to eat those things and and it's not a crazy thing. I mean, she's able to eat cheese. She's able to eat, but we don't eat a whole lot of corn, but when she does, and it's fine. So, but I'm seeing a lot of things where people start to kind of do this kind of all or nothing, like it's black or white, like we have to go total extreme, balls to the wall or nothing, or you suck because you allowed this or that. But I'm noticing this, and I think, part of it is because my children are getting older and it's harder and harder to control what your children are eating as they get older because they have mouths and they will talk to you. So, my kids are not out there begging to eat candy that has dyes in it. They know that they're not supposed to have it. And they also, because they didn't have it for so many years, if they do have some, they often notice that they don't feel very well. Or they notice that their behavior changes, or they notice that their brother's behavior changes, or something like that. So I'm not going to sit here and say, like, you need to let your kids eat those things, but the problem comes in when we start to work in some shame in there. So, you know, like I'll give an example. There was one day not too long ago we were out for brunch with my whole family. I think like my extended family was here, so we were all out, and it was a crowded restaurant. And they finally brought out the food, and apparently they had forgotten, or it was like delayed. My little guy, his I think it was pancakes. It was the pancakes or French toast. I don't remember, but or maybe a waffle. But anyway, it was something like that he had ordered at brunch. And by the way, I let my kids order whatever they want when we go out to eat, because when they are at home, they are getting all of the nutrients. They're getting more of the protein. Like everything is more controlled at home in terms of what is put in front of them to eat. So when we go out, I'm not worried about it. If my daughter wants to just order French fries at a restaurant, she's going to order just French fries, and that's okay. But anyway, so we, my little guy, of course he's hungry and he's been waiting. We waited for the table and then we're waiting for the food. So he had to wait again. So when they brought out his pancakes. We'll call them pancakes because I don't remember what it was. Now his sister had gotten the same thing, and they gave it to her first. They didn't, maybe they would have given it to him if they had realized the kitchen didn't make his. I don't know, but so he's kind of sad. So when they brought out his, it had extra. They put whipped cream. They put all these sprinkles on top. Like they gave him some. They made it fun looking for him because he was sad. So they put that down in front of him. And, my dad's like, oh, look at that. Yeah, like you the man. Like, look at that. That's great. And, like everybody's like, oh, wow, look at your plate. Now, I had like, it was kind of like a time lapse there, like I collapsed time from there. I could see and feel time kind of slowing down. And I could kind of go back in time to Jess from like 5 years ago, where I would have been like, oh my God, this was so nice of you, but I definitely can't let him eat this. And burr, 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 burr. And then what would have happened? I would have had a completely ugly crying mess of a little boy because he would have felt shame for being excited that this thing looked so good in front of him. And honestly, the only thing that was really bad about it were the sprinkles on there. And I mean, maybe they didn't even have dyes in them. I mean, I couldn't really tell you. Sometimes you can tell by like the shades of the colors, and other times you can't necessarily. But anyway, so in that moment, I made the choice to be like, whatever, like you're going to enjoy this, eat your food, all is well. And when things like that happen, or like when somebody comes and says, oh, here, I've got this for you, sometimes when they order hot chocolate, it comes with extra stuff on it like that. And so sometimes I'll be like, all right, well, you know what, when we get home, everybody take a parotid, or everybody take a binder, you know, and these are supplements that'll just help to get some of those things out of there. And it's not something I'm not going to be like, yeah, order that, order the thing with the dyes in it on purpose. But when it happens, I don't want them to be upset. I don't want them to feel shame for that. I don't want them to feel like they've done something wrong, because I don't want them to rebel. I want them to understand that there is a way to even everything out and balance everything out, and it's going to be okay. So that's part of it there. So that's just something that I've come to realize. And, like, yes, you want what's best for everybody, and you want to be able to control what's going in and out of your body and your families, but you can't go too crazy over it because it's going to cause more harm. And then you're stressed out. And when your autonomic nervous system is in a stressed out state and it's in that sympathetic state, that fight or flight, you can't possibly be doing any resting, digesting, or healing. It doesn't work. So everything else is going to shut down. And when you're in that state, your whole nervous system just doesn't even feel safe. So it's going to add to your own trauma. And it's probably traumas coming up from when you were younger. It's going to be adding to the children's trauma. It's not a good picture. So sometimes we do have to choose the peace over, trying to control every little single little thing. And in turn of this, like you're going to actually realize you're taking better control of your entire life by relinquishing control of absolutely everything around you. Because we try to control everything around us when we don't have control over ourselves, our bodies, our lives, whatever it is in your life, and that's what I do, right? That's what I do. I empower women to harness control of their lives by uniting spiritual and physical wellness. So that's one of the things here that I'm talking about. This definitely ties into that. Um, so in terms of, the holistic community, and I know because like as a practitioner, people would always come to me, what should I eat? What should I not eat? What are some things that I could get instead of this brand and that brand? Some people will say Annie's organic stuff is not so great, but it's probably better than, the Kraft and the Goldfish. So if that's what you want to go for, then go for it. And then you have the moms who go, well, I make all of our crackers and all of our mac and cheese from scratch at home. Awesome. That's fucking amazing. I wish that I had time to do all of that all the time and the drive to do it, the motivation. Some of you do, some of us don't. That's okay. I want people to know that you can make a choice, and it's even if it's just slightly better than a different choice, great. Feel good about yourself. Do the best that you can. And when you can do better, do better. But don't get all, I don't want you getting down on yourself like, oh, I totally failed because I let my kid have goldfish. Listen, my kids have had goldfish. I don't like that they have had goldfish, but sometimes they're out, and they're like at a kid's thing and they get handed goldfish. And I'm like, all right, well, you had a nice little taste of glyphosate today. All right, let's go home and take a binder. Okay, fine. Like we'll go home and take a binder if I feel the need and if I even remember. But I'm not going to shame my child for eating the crackers that everybody else was eating. there's not like a deathly allergy or anything like that. So it's okay to have some kind of balance like that because we're going to be human. You still have to live your life. Most of us do not only eat at home. Most of us do not have, like we don't grow everything on our ground, a lot of you do, and that's freaking awesome. I mean, like I do. I have some friends that are like homesteading and do it, and their food is so clean and wonderful, and that is just phenomenal. I absolutely love that. But it's not reality for everyone because not everyone is in a position to be a homesteader. You go to work, you do this, everybody makes their choices on what they want their life to be, and that's okay. It would be really boring if we were all the same. So but another thing, I mean, I did make a reel last week or the week before when the Bonza chickpea pasta, there was that one variety, it came out having like the highest count of glyphosate of like anything else that had ever been tested in that lab. And that was really annoying. Now, that never, I don't think they ever claimed to be organic or non-GMO or non-glyphosate or anything like that, which non-GMO does not mean not, like, it doesn't mean no pesticides. But anyway, even organic doesn't mean that, it's just different pesticides, if you will, but it's gonna be a better choice. But that was annoying to me because it was something that I had suggested to people who needed to go grain free. Now, I personally never thought that it cooked up very well. We had it a few times, and I would prefer the jovial if I have to do something like that. But that was really annoying to come out with that, so something like that, like, okay, that can be pretty harmful. So, maybe find something else to use instead, sooner rather than later. But there are other things, I remember a few years ago when Nestle bought out, I think they bought out the Garden of Eden supplements. They bought out the or no, I'm sorry, Garden of Life. They bought out those supplements, and then they bought out like Vital Proteins, the collagen powder and stuff. So the clinic that I was working for, we stopped carrying it because we didn't want to give our money to Nestle. Now I know that there are some other brands like I think even Primal Kitchen has been like purchased by Heinz or something like that, and a lot of people don't want to give their money to that, or they're worried that the recipe is going to change. And Rayo's got bought out as well, the pasta sauce and pasta, and maybe there will be changes eventually, but at least at first, if you're not going to just make your own sauces at home, if you're not going to make your own pasta at home and you don't know what else to do, it's still okay to use the Primal Kitchen, to use the Rayos, to use those things until you find a better option that you can actually find in a store that you shop in, that it's not a pain in the ass to get. I mean, if you want to start making your own things, awesome. Sometimes I make my own stuff too, but other times I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. I've been recording stuff and chasing kids around all day and doing all these things. And let me tell you about the piles of laundry that I got in my laundry room right now. I think I've got like one, two, three, four sets of sheets that I need to like fold right now, and two more that I need to get into the washing machine. So, I mean, not sitting around with my feet up all day long, like cooking sauces and stuff. So, if you're not able to, change what you're going to use right away, don't feel bad for purchasing that. Okay, oh my gosh, you gave money to a company that you don't really like. Okay, but I probably bought it at Walmart. I don't particularly like that company either. But when I got to go shopping and sometimes that's where you are. So whatever you got to do. And then we also have, God love them. I mean, because everybody's just trying to spread awareness and make sure that people can make healthy choices. So I understand nobody's posting these things like to be wrong or to cause a problem. But I'm going to use an example that I saw because I made a reel on it a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. But the one morning I woke up and this one post was just breaking the internet, and it was about the carmine food coloring, which is made from a little bug, a little red bug. I think it's like a cochineal or something. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it, so forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm not a doctor of bugs or anything like that. I'm going to be a doctor of natural medicine, but not a buggy. But anyway, so this carmine, you might have seen it called carmine as a food coloring. It's been used for decades and decades. And yes, they smoosh up bugs and use it in it. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a nasty grossness factor there. Absolutely agree. I'm not telling you that you absolutely have to eat it. What I am going to say though, because this post, it went on and on about how this bug is a parasite And so, oh, they're making us consume parasites, they're giving us more parasites, they're blah, 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 blah. And I'm not saying, I'm like, listen, there's definitely a push to eat bugs lately. I don't think that this was part of that because this has been around for so long. I'm not advocating to eat bugs. I know I've seen it. I've seen like the cricket flour and stuff like that. It's not for me. If you're eating that, okay, you do you. I don't see a crazy nutritional benefit to it, so I'm just not for that. But I don't think that this particular carmine color was like part of a big conspiracy or something like that. And maybe some of you are going to disagree with that, and that's okay. You're totally welcome to your own opinion. Um, but it goes on to say that like this post, this one person posted this, and it's been like shared all over. Says to Starbucks raspberry swirl cake, birthday cake pop, their mini donut, Kellogg's Fruit Loops and fruit snacks, and it says Tropicana, Betty Crocker's red velvet, and then Nesquik strawberry chocolate cookie. I don't know. It also says Nerds, Skittles, and Dannon yogurts are like the strawberry, blueberry, raspberry. So, okay. First of all, yes, there's a grossness factor to this. It's still better for you than red dye 40. Full stop. It's still better for you than an artificial food coloring, 100%. Okay. All right. Now, I would rather be beet juice or some, the colors, maybe spirulina, whatever. I would rather that. And I've even seen those kinds of natural colors used in Starbucks and things like that. But here's the other thing of this. Okay. So, yes, it is a parasite. It's a parasite for a cactus. I think it's the prickly pear cactus. It's a parasite for a cactus, not for people, not for a human. So it's not a parasite that wants you. Okay. It wants cacti. Okay. So that's one of the things. So it's rather misleading because it's only half facts. Okay. Now, all of these products that I just mentioned, okay, I went ahead and looked most of them up because I was like, I don't know. I was like, I can tell you right now that Skittles is using red dye 40, yellow, all that. Okay. And yes, that's what Skittles using, maybe in another country. But even I looked up Fruit Loops, which Fruit Loops in America definitely uses all the artificial red dye 40, blah, 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 all of those. The one in the UK, they use plant extracts like nettle, spinach, fruit and vegetable extracts, carrot and black currant and paprika in there. So it's not even in the UK versions. Okay. The um, the Starbucks things are using things like vegetable juice coloring, turmeric, and stuff like that. Starbucks doesn't have a ton of like nasty artificial dyes from what I have seen. Fruit Loops, of course, has yellow dye and everything in it. The red velvet cake is using red dye 40. That cake mix, the Betty Crocker, it is not using this carmine. And the same thing with Nerds. I mean, I double checked on most of them, and my suspicions were absolutely correct. So I'm not saying that like all the products that are listed there that you should be going out and eating those or anything. I mean, I have a Starbucks every now and then. I don't usually eat much from there, but anyway, okay. So here's the thing. This is a fear mongering post, and it created a lot of hoopla. It got an uproar because the holistic community is running around freaking out that they're putting bugs in the food, and oh my gosh, this is so gross. And then you have people that come in with the voice of reason and are like, listen, here's the problem with sharing these things without looking into them, okay? Because the parasite is not parasite that's going to hurt a human. The things that you're saying that it's not even in there. So you're sharing these things where, well, like, yes, this is used. Like, it is a thing. I didn't find anything. I didn't really look, so I didn't find anything specific that it actually is in, but it is used. Okay, this isn't new. It's used as a food coloring. It has been. All right. I think I've seen it in candies or something here and there, but I couldn't tell you what kind or anything. But so it is a thing. It's not like this is a lie, but it's a fear mongering half truth. And not only that, but when people look into this and go, this post said that carmine stuff is in this and it's not even in there. It's not. It's not even in there. So you know what that does? That makes the entire holistic community look like a bunch of fear mongering morons. It does. We need to make sure that we are sharing things that are true, especially if they're going to cause people to be like outraged and upset and sick to their stomach. We need to make sure that it's true before we put it out there. Not because I'm like Starbucks is going to be mad that you lied about what's in their food. They don't care. Starbucks, Kellogg's, Nestle, please. They do not care about your post on Facebook or Twitter or whatever you are. And they don't care. They're making their money. They're fine. But the rest of the holistic community does not want to be grouped in to a category of people who post stuff when they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. So I mean, I know that I have posted things in the past years ago that I found out were not true, and you got to come clean. Well, I am very sorry. I usually look things up first, and I did not. You need to come clean with those kinds of things because it's just creating a huge stressful situation. And that's going to be more harmful than eating the damn bug or even eating the damn artificial dye or flavor. Okay. When your body is not feeling safe and is a constant state of stress, you're not healing. You're not working through trauma. Nothing's going to work. Everything's going to stick to you and cling because that trauma won't let it go. And if our nervous system feels scared, that's not going to work. So a lot of my videos do bring a voice of reason to some things because, I want you to know what the facts are and then make the best decision for your family. That's really what it's about. Okay. Here are the facts. Here's what's going on. Here's what's going to be best if maybe you're seeing a practitioner who's doing muscle testing or some other kind of testing on you, and they're saying these things are going to be good for you to eat and these things are not. That would be good to listen. They likely know what they're talking about. And most of the time you don't have to avoid something forever and ever and ever. There are certain things, that really are not good for anybody, but we live in America and sometimes you're going to be exposed to those things. And I don't want you to feel shame because you're exposed to those things. I don't want you to feel shame because you ate the dessert at the birthday party. Eating the cake is less harmful than stressing over never eating cake. So there's my little take on that. Because this is just something that I see going across everywhere. So we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can, but we don't want to feel shame and put shame on others for not doing the same as you, not doing the same as we are, okay? Because everybody's going to be different. Some people are like, whatever, I really don't care if there's artificial dyes in it. I'm going to eat it anyway. And they don't care what the reason is why you don't eat it. All right, well, that's fine. The people who want to listen are going to listen. The people who want your advice are going to take your advice. And as a practitioner, as a future doctor of natural medicine, it is not my job to make everyone agree with me. It's my job to share with you what I know so that then you know, and that empowers you to make the best decisions for you. That's what I want. I want you to make decisions for you. I don't want you to do something because Jess said so. I want you to know why you're doing something. And I don't want you to feel badly when you do something that you think Jess would disapprove of. Because believe you me, Jess does stuff that Jess disapproves of too. Okay? Because I too am a human. Okay. So that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please leave me a 5-star review. You can find me at deeprootedwellnessid.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Deep Rooted Wellness. You can find me on TikTok at JessDRW, and that's what my YouTube is called as well. And it's under Deep Rooted Wellness, and the handle is JessDRW. I'm so glad that you stopped by today. I can't wait to see you next time. Go out there, do your best. Love you guys.